Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Acha, before I get into my editorial, let me tell you we have a special episode on Bihar elections and the exit polls. Today is the last day of polls, so we will be sharing with you the exit polls, the polls of polls. We will basically show you all the exit polls that has been announced today, and I'm sure it will be very interesting episode to watch. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. Now let's get into the editorial. I've got two topics today. My topic number one is about a question that has been asked recently. And the question is, will Joe Biden becoming the president harm India's interest? Will it harm India's interest? A lot of people say that, he is going to support China and therefore, we will have a lot of problems. Let us just dwell into that and figure out how true is that. So that's my topic number one. My topic number two is a clarification that I want to give on my editorial that I gave day before yesterday. See, I spoke about Punjab. I spoke about the Punjab farmers. I spoke about the farmers' protest in Punjab. And I spoke about the rail roko that is currently happening in Punjab. And the fact that because of that, goods train are not entering Punjab. A lot of people, a lot of you all wrote to me. In fact, a very regular viewer, Raman Bajwa, wrote to me, and this answer primarily, Mr. Bajwa, is for you. Wrote to me asking me, telling me that, listen, what else could they do other than protest, other than do rail roko, because they had to grab the center's attention. You're right. But then I have a reason why I said possibly the rail roko is not a good idea. So I will clarify that. That's my topic number two, and let's get right into the show. Let me tell you the first thing about Joe Biden or any president of United States of America. Every president of United States of America initially has always been saying good things about China, including Trump. Let me tell you, including Trump. Now, if you notice a Trump speech before the election and even right after the election, he never said that China is bad. In fact, he said China is very good. He said the way American leaders, which means his competitors, have been dealing with China, the earlier presidents have been dealing with China, was wrong. That's all he said. He didn't say that China was bad. Likewise, even Biden is talking good about China because every president does that. Barack Obama, before he became the president, also said that he would like to have good relationships with China. Every president did that. Now, it is very typical. It is very typical. Let me tell you that. It is very typical. You see, if you look at any prime minister, first-time prime ministers in India, each prime minister, when he takes oath and right after he takes oath, the first thing he tries to build a bridge with Pakistan. Every prime minister has done it. Atal Bihari Vajpayee has done it, Narendra Modi has done it, everybody has done it. Because somewhere down the line, a prime minister, when he is fresh, he is new, he wants to clean all the bad blood and possibly try to maintain good relationship with everybody. I think anybody would want to do that, and that is what the prime minister does, and that's exactly what presidents of the United States does. But all this happens for the first 6 months of the presidency. Or even in our case, the prime ministership. First 6 months, uske baad everything is back to normal. So the fact is, Biden is going to be pro-China. His policies will be pro-China. I don't think stands water. I don't think that's going to happen. For two reasons. First of all, for political reasons. Because obviously there is going to be one-upmanship. China wants to be the economic superpower. China wants to be the superpower, period. Forget economic or non-economic. China wants to be the superpower. America is not going to allow that. So aligning with China may not be the best idea. Okay, that is one end of the story. The second end of the story is more important and deals with money, rupiah na paise. You see, Chinese products not only compete with American products globally, Chinese product competes with American product in America, in their domestic market. So the fact is, if America tries to be friendly with China and open their markets for China and hug China and kiss China and all that, it's directly going to affect their coffers. And America is not going to allow that. America never does anything that doesn't benefit America. And obviously nobody does that. But yeah, I mean, America especially doesn't do anything that affects the Americans. So the fact remains that it is not that an American president can just overnight become the best friends with China and all that. So that aspect of it, let us forget. You see, we had our skirmishes in Ladakh with China. Where did America come to help us? America expressed their concern. But where did Trump come and say, okay, yeah, you mess with India, I'm going to send my force, or I will back India, or I will give weapons to India? Where did he say that? He said nothing of that. He mentioned concern, Baba, kya ho raha udhar? So, how do we know that Trump in his second term would have been like, absolutely there for India and all that? Because in his entire 5 years, Trump has done nothing special for India. Nothing special for India. So, to believe that if he wins, which the chances are almost nil, but all the same, if he wins and he comes back, what guarantee that he is going to be India's best friend? So, all this, I think, is all figments of different people's imagination. I don't think there is any fact in this. This is my first point. The second point I want to make clear, which I have said before, I want to say this again. Those days are over in our lives, where we had to depend on America, whether America is friendly with us, or whether England is friendly with us, or Europe is friendly with us, or Russia is friendly with us, or any other country is friendly with us, or Middle East is friendly with us. Those days are gone. You see, India is the owner of one of the world's largest market. I think India is a better market, and being a marketing person, let me tell you, and a lot of marketing colleagues of mine will agree to me, India is seen as a better market in the world than even China. So we are the owners of a huge market, and we have the power of consumption. So no country, including America, can take us lightly and say, "Chalega yaar," whether they will be friendly to us, whether he'll like our face, he'll not like our face, and all. Those are long days. Those days are gone. Thanks to the Singh Rao opening up of economy and all the other governments after that. You see, the fact remains that we have outgrown all that. Now it doesn't matter. We are no Pakistan where we look at aid and all that. We don't have all that thing. So that's the first thing. Look, we are self-sufficient and we are very powerful ourselves. Secondly, what we need to understand is we are the largest purchaser of weapons. We have a huge purchase. We have a huge requirement of weapons, and America is the largest seller. I am not saying that therefore we purchase a huge amount of weapons from America, but listen, we are one of the world's biggest purchasers of weapons. So there are a lot of things that Americans or American president would think before they do anything against India, or they act against India, or they work on policies which are against India. Apart from also the fact that Indians in America are possibly the richest community in America. So that too. Now all of this, we need to understand that finally relationships between two countries are not built by two individuals. That is another thing that we need to take from our mind and throw it out of the window. Two individuals cannot make great relationships. Two countries make relationships. Two countries, when they come together, they make relationships through negotiations, through diplomatic ties, through value adds that each country gives the other. If I can value add something to another country and that country can value add something to me, then the relationship, the bond is stronger. Not that my prime minister can hug better and my prime minister can hold hands better and run do an event and all that jazz. That will not help. Neither can their prime minister come and do all that. All that will not help. Those are all symbolic. That is what I think happened in the last 6 years. Symbolic. रुपया ना पैसा एक्चुअली में कुछ नहीं होता है. एक्चुअली में होता है जब when there is trade. Trade happens when there is fantastic negotiation. actually happens when there is commerce between each other. Commerce happens when we give value adds. We give value adds to them, either in terms of technology, or in terms of, or they give us technology or scientific insights, technological insights, so on and so forth. That is when the bond happens. And of course, diplomacy, cultural exchange also, that of course helps. But that doesn't mean events. Cultural diplomacy is much beyond events. It is when an American comes to know what an Indian is, what Indian culture is, and an Indian comes to know what an American culture is. When an Indian gets exposed to American culture, Americans get exposed to Indian culture, that is when people to people bonding happens. Those are real relationships. Not, Namaste Trump and Howdy Modi and all, those are all symbolic events. That may not happen. Going by Joe Biden's track record, that may not happen. He at least comes through as a professional. He comes through as a person who is very focused on his business, whatever he has to do. He doesn't tend to, at least that's what he appears to be. So the point is, we may not necessarily see, huggings and kissing, huggings and holding hands and having gala dinners and gala parties and all, that we may not see, but that should not be construed as the relationship being weakened. I don't think that should be construed as, that should be seen that way. Because normally, country to country relationships are kind of, a little professional rather than, such symbolism. So that's that. The last point I want to make before I end the show. You see, there is a lot of talk, especially in the social media, that, oh, Kamala Harris is Indian. She is half Indian. So yes, possibly because of her, India may get a lot of benefits or a lot of goodies or a lot of soaps or whatever. You see, again, I go back to my point number 1. India doesn't need any goodies. India doesn't need any special favors from anybody. We are self-sufficient. We know what we want. What we want, we will ask for, we will take because of what we do and what we give in return. What we give in return, we'll take. So it is India's, whatever India will get, whatever India has, whatever India will take is what others owe to India. We don't need any khairat. We don't need any favors. That being said, you see, let me give you a small example of this lady called Miss Kamala Harris. See, Miss Kamala Harris always identified herself as an Afro-American. Most of her political life, she has been fighting on Afro-American issues. Most of her political life. It is just recently that, this lady moved from being Afro-American and then all of a sudden she expressed her love for dosa and South India and her mother from South India and all of that. Of course, her mother is from South India, no doubt about it. But the fact remains that she never identified herself with South India or India for that matter of fact. She identified herself as an Afro-American lady. So, I don't think much should be expected from her. And I think she will keep her country's interest first, which is right and absolutely correct. And she will work for her country's interest rather than our interest. So, to conclude, Joe Biden or any president, including even Trump, they will make policies, they will execute policies that benefits their country, in the interest of their country, and rightfully so. We should propose policies, we should expect things that is working on our interest. We do not expect anything from America as a favor. All the rest, all these parties and dance programs and namastes and howdies and all of them otherwise are symbolic. What matters is how you guard the interest of each of our countries. A very regular viewer, in fact a lot of you all, but one letter in particular that I would like to mention is a very regular viewer, Mr. Raman Bajwa, wrote to me about my editorial day before yesterday. I had said that Captain Amrinder Singh and the government of Punjab should ensure that they do not provoke or protect or even allow such rail rocos in the state. Because finally, with this kind of rail roco, it is nobody else but the people of the state that suffers the most. While a lot of you all wrote to me and Mr. Bajwa wrote to me saying, listen, you know what do we do? The center doesn't seem to be hearing us. How else will we ensure that the attention of the center is drawn to us? Fair point, absolutely fair point. I do not disagree to that. But the point is, you see, ensuring that there is a blockade on the state doesn't harm anybody more than what it harms the state itself. My only submission to you was, is it worth it? Like I said earlier on, Rabi is right round the corner. This blockade is going to harm the crops, especially. Forget about the production, other industries that it will harm. Forget about that. It is going to harm agricultural industry. My submission was it worth it? So that's the point I wanted to make. I do not say that the farmers are doing it as some anti-national operation and all. All that is not what I said. Obviously that is not what I said. Obviously that is not what I said. What I said is that we should ensure that while we protest, it should not harm our own self. You see, you cannot burn your own house to show light to others. That is not possibly a wise decision to make. Till I see you next time, Namaskar.